We Move Podcast, episode 5. I got John Whitley, Ian Jones, JG, big win last night. I guess he's still resting up. Shout out to Beast Mode, JG. Well, he just posted on IG, so we gonna have to FaceTime JG or something, but get him on the pod, man. How y'all doing?
Hey, man, I'm
Wonderful.
I'm great.
Life is good, man. Hey, life is real.
We already started.
good.
We're not even a minute in with this ridiculous.
Hey, I'm just saying. Hey, if y'all been following the pod, go back to the last episode.
We're not even a minute in the pod. You see this?
Go back.
He's been waiting all day for
last
this. You see
episode.
this?
Yeah, I've been waiting for this. I haven't been giving you all a hard time in the chat. Last episode, everybody was, USC winning. Well, TikTok, would you look who's in the college football playoff? We got the Ohio State Buckeyes heading down to Atlanta, Georgia, heading south. Hey, remember what happened last time a Northern Army came south? That's all I got to say, you know what I mean?
that wasn't the last time, that's for sure.
You hear this guy?
Anyways, man.
John, it wasn't even a minute in the pod. I'm not making this whole pod. It wasn't even a minute in, John. Not even maybe 30 seconds, bro.
We got my Ohio State Buckeyes heading to play the Georgia Bulldogs, and then we got the Michigan Wolverines in Arizona in the Fiesta Bowl playing the TCU Horned Frogs. So it's a good playoff, man. What do y'all think? Did the committee get it right, John? Ian, y'all want to take off on that?
Go ahead, John.
I would say they got it right. I think the first three were pretty obvious, and then with USC losing, especially the way they did to Utah, I think Ohio State, Alabama had the 2 losses. USC obviously had 2 losses. Clemson had 2 losses, and Ohio State kind of just was fortunate sitting there with 1 loss, and I think they are the 4th team.
Yeah, what do you think, Ian?
Yeah, man, the committee got it right. At first, I don't know what was wrong with me. I was saying Bama should get in. I was like, man, Bama would beat TCU any day. They probably beat Michigan. But I was like, really? I think I'm letting the Bama bias get in the way, bro. Because then I had to think about it, like, if they were Auburn and like Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, SEC, and they still had the same record with the same performances, bro, we wouldn't even really be talking about it. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
There's Bama. They got that sense of dominance. Like, they've been doing it for so long. We just feel like they're supposed to always be in there. But maybe this year somebody passed. I'm like, it's going to be interesting. They play Kansas State, right? It's like whoever plays in that game or whatever. It's going to be interesting to see how they do versus Kansas State. So we'll see. Because, like, it's been years. Remember, Bama lost in bowl games versus teams they were better than on paper and lost in the bowl game to them. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty hilarious. Nick Saban campaigning for his team, which he should. I mean, he's 6, 7, however many times national champion. I mean, he can go in there and do it. But your best win is 8-4. Like, if that team, any other team not named Alabama, if they're in that situation, I highly doubt we're even considering them for a number 4 spot at all. So it's interesting. I'm interested to see because I don't really remember any Bama players really ever opting out of bowl games. I know Bo Scarborough. I don't know if y'all remember him, the running back. He came out with a pretty big statement today saying he doesn't think guys should sit out bowls, and we actually going to talk about that a little bit. Obviously, that's affected Ohio State a little bit the past 2 years, but it's affecting college football. A little pandemic going around in the sport. But I want to shout out our loyal listeners. Shout out to everybody on the Instagram interacting. I put out a pod saying who you got. Do you guys know, or if you guys could take a guess of who got the top percentage and like what were the rankings? Do you guys remember? I put them all out in order, and the podcast listeners and followers kind of voted on them. Do you guys know who got the top percentage?
Georgia should have got it,
Shoot, Evan lives in Ohio. He's got all of my Ohio files. It might have been Ohio State. I don't
know. Even they know the real deal. Georgia number 1. Who else was after that?
I mean, yeah, I have some Ohio followers, but shout out to my people back home in North Carolina. A lot of Ian's Michigan State guys follow, and a lot of your guys from Washington follow. Shout out to my guy, Bobby Jones. Big Bobby Jones DM me off rip. Like, I'm sorry, Ohio State's going to get rolled. We'll see. Shout out to Bobby Jones. But the percentage, though, the pod listeners, they spoke, and they said they got Georgia at 67% chance to win. Ohio State at 33% chance to win. Michigan 0% and TCU at 0%. So I mean that's interesting. They really feel like this 1-4 game, and that honestly obviously that's kind of how I feel. But I mean Georgia, it's a tall task. It's a tall task, but kind of how last week I'm hot right now. Last week I talked about how y'all felt like Utah was going to beat them. I felt like they were the better team, and I think last year I'm not just saying this off bias, but last year the last team to beat Georgia was Bama, and they threw it around, and they have a quarterback and receivers who could do it. Ohio State has the receivers that can do it. That Michigan game wasn't as bad of a blowout. We talked about that a little bit as it ended up being. It's just about executing and staying focused and going for it. And we got the receiver. He didn't win the Biletnikoff tonight. Congrats to Jalen Hyatt. He had a fantastic season, but I feel like Marvin's a better player. But the stats. A lot of those people that vote on those things, kind of look at the stats. And I mean, that game he had versus Alabama was amazing. So congratulations to him. But I think we can do it, though. Do y'all want to save y'all's predictions for next week on the games, or do y'all want to comment on the games at all? I think Michigan TCU could be a good one too. TCU,
yeah, Michigan TCU. I gotta give my thoughts a couple of days.
Yeah,
like TCU could do it, but I feel it's like something I can't see them doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like they could do it, but I'm like, I just can't picture them really walking.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I can see it being close, but like Michigan will find a way.
Yeah. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that if CJ Stroud couldn't beat Michigan, that Max Duggan's not. No disrespect, I think he's a good quarterback. Right. I can't see one guy really beating that Michigan defense. That Michigan defense is legit.
And we really don't know how good that. We really still don't know how good that TCU defense is because Max Duggan's been saving him, honestly, like with his performances every weekend and week out. So we still don't even know if they can really stop anyone for honestly. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he made a couple turnovers in that Big 12 championship game, and they kind of stepped up for him. But like you said, we don't really know until we know. That game's almost a toss-up because Michigan does this thing where they like keep the game close with like everybody. Like I think they were losing to Rutgers at halftime, and then they just like we talk about all the time in the chat. It's like a slow death the way they run the ball. Even the Michigan State game, like it's like a slow death, man. That O-line is amazing. So they're a tough team. It should be fun. We'll kind of get into predictions. Maybe in these coming weeks, we still have a few weeks. We're gonna do a little cool thing. I'll put it out on Instagram. Kind of get a bowl game pick 'em going on. Whoever wins it, hop on the pod with us for a little bit. So that'll be fun. But the Heisman coming up this week. They had the college football awards tonight. Do you guys feel like they got that right?
I saw Caleb Williams win the Maxwell Award, and I think he's the obvious pick for Heisman, and Maxwell's overall best college football player. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I think he, I think he had the best year, the best stats. USC obviously came a game short of the playoffs, but I don't think anybody had a better season than Caleb Williams.
Yeah, like for a while there, I thought I was going to be a Hendon Hooker. Like being honest with you, I was going to come down to Hendon Hooker and CJ Stroud, and then Hooker had the injury. They took a couple of losses on the chin. Like then I was like, oh, it's Stroud. And then after the Michigan game, I'm like, dang, who is it? And I think the obvious pick after that was Caleb Williams. Like I don't think Blake Corum had a good season, but I don't think he should be up there. And Hooker, I feel like that back end of the season, when those big games, they probably really need him to play and like help them get over the hump to maybe make the playoff this year. Really hurt him making the Heisman, so I feel like Williams will probably win it.
Yeah, I mean, the only two I think it could be right now, like I kind of talked about, is probably like Williams or Duggan. I mean, if Duggan would have won that Big 12 championship game, he probably would have had it locked up, honestly.
Honestly, though, I was watching the LSU highlights again when they played Georgia just last night. Mm-hmm. And Stetson Bennett makes plays, man, but it's like, I don't know, like if he was on another team, he wouldn't be as nice or what it is. But he's a good quarterback, and I think he probably deserves to be a finalist. I don't know really like if how skewed that is based upon like his overall team, how they make him look. Is it like a Jared Goff type thing for the Rams? His team is just so good around him. But we'll see in the playoffs. He's got to make some plays to beat Ohio State for sure. They're not gonna be able to just run the ball all game or just dink and dunk. They're gonna make some third down and longs, and if they're gonna beat Michigan, they for sure have to be some tight coverages, run the ball. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting. I asked, that was another question that I put out, and it was kind of funny because Stetson, I said like, and I'll let Ian go, and then I'll let John go. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, I felt like at least Hooker and Corum could have been invited, But then I thought about it, like, with them, I don't even know if they can walk right now. They're both coming off knee surgeries. So do you feel like maybe like when we asked our listeners, we'll get into the numbers, but when we asked them, they were just saying like, hey, the reason why, Stetson was the guy, they were like, they picked Hendon and Blake. Like everybody was saying that. Like it was huge numbers. I'm pulling up the numbers now, but they were saying, well, how do you guys feel like did they just not invite them because they're injured, or do you think like they got the four? Like it's kind of correct of who's over there?
Yeah, after the SEC title game, I feel like it was correct, bro. Stetson Bennett played a really good game that game. He really showed a lot, I felt like. And
Yeah,
LSU was a good team, and he's shown it all season. Like, he's the most important player on the best team in the nation. Probably put him on there. So that's my thought process when it comes to that.
yeah, John, what do you think?
I definitely would have had Hooker over Stetson. I don't know if the Stetson thing is to like entire college football playoff. And no disrespect to him, I think he's a good quarterback. He's got like 20 touchdowns this year. Hendon Hooker was the best player in college football for like the first 8 weeks of the season. And then, Tennessee season kind of went sour with the South Carolina game. And then he gets hurt and this is the Vandy game. But he's a way better college football player in my opinion than Stetson Bennett. So I think he should. Yeah, if the injury has something to do with it, I guess that makes sense. But if he can walk, he should be there.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. When I asked them, I said, if you were a voter, would you vote Hendon Hooker or Blake Corum over any of the top four? 80% said yes, and then 20% said no. So pretty overwhelming numbers. And then when I asked who they would have Blake over, 82% said Stetson, and then 18% said Max. And then for Hendon, it was 14% Max, 7% Caleb. So that's interesting. And then 79% Stetson. I think they're probably just saying like they would have, Hooker maybe ahead of Caleb, winning over Caleb, just because Tennessee's kind of been, sit last year. I think they were 8-5 or 7-6, and their offense put up a lot of points, and they really made that jump this year. That game at South Carolina was still kind of unbelievable what South Carolina did at the end of the season, and they're trying to turn their program around. So it was just kind of interesting to just kind of see everything that went on with that. And I think Hooker and even Corum had a pretty good season, but I think it would be Hooker that I'll probably replace maybe Bennett with, because like you said, John, he has like 20 touchdowns. So it should be interesting. Do you guys want to go? Like, you guys are both Caleb guys. It's hard for me because I feel like even in Caleb's game, right? The reason why I'm gonna go ahead and pick Max, even though I feel like Caleb will probably win, just because the way I think about it is that Max was 12-0, and I know he threw that interception in the end zone on Saturday, but I mean he was carrying them in that game, like he almost passed out there on the field. So Caleb's been terrific, and he's been carrying that USC team as well. But I mean, TCU's in the playoffs, and their quarterback had them at 12-0, and right there on the doorstep of being 13-0. So I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. So it should be a fun one. For our championship main dictator rankings, you two, well, all three of us, the guy who finished last, JG at 3-3, is not on the screen. John went 4-2, Ian went 4-2, and I went 4-2. So I feel like I got a little greedy with a couple picks. The Carolina pick really, I would have been 5-1 if I didn't pick Carolina. But Drake May said he's not leaving. Do y'all have any comments on that, or the transfer portal? How do you guys feel about that?
No, I'm glad he's not leaving, bro. I think Carolina can be a good team. He's the type of player, like, especially in a league like the ACC, when it comes to football, he can carry a team to a championship. Honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like Carolina needs to keep building around him, plug some pieces in. I feel like they can make another run in the Coastal next year for sure.
For sure. John, how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm certainly, obviously Carolina. It would have been wild if he hit the transfer portal. I mean, you're talking about they're calling him for being Bryce Young's replacement at Bama.
top
Ohio
tier,
State probably
top
calling him to be
tier
CJ
transfer.
Stroud. Georgia's calling to be Stetson Bennett. I mean, he is going to a national title contender for sure if he leaves. But I mean, the family ties, just that wasn't happening.
Yeah, no, and just knowing the May family, like they're really Tar Heel born and Tar Heel bred, and when they die, they'll be Tar Heel dead. So they really are. So it's gonna be interesting to follow his career. Shout out Drake, a fantastic season. Finish it out strong. I know you'll probably play pretty solid. I know it was a couple rough games, but like that was first year starting. Only thing I'm worried about is that defense playing Oregon. That makes me a little nervous. So we'll see how that goes, man. We'll see how that goes. Big John, who y'all? Matter of fact, who do both of y'all teams got in the vote? Oh man.
You see how,
My coach, my coach is
how he
recruiting, bro.
does?
My
You
coach
think
is
it's
recruiting,
funny?
bro.
Oh
Recruiting,
man. Hey, bounce back, shake back next year, man. Shake back next year. Hey, one thing I was saying, we talked about this a lot in the chat. Obviously, a Ohio State fan. So, for those that don't know, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, Rose Bowl record holder, Ohio State season yard record holder, fantastic wide receiver. Has I'm not gonna say opted out, but he's not gonna be playing for the rest of the season. He's sitting it out, getting ready for the NFL draft. Had a hamstring injury week 1 versus Notre Dame. To this day, I really feel like it was a dirty hit. If you want to go back and watch it, the Notre Dame safety, he was already going down out of bounds. Kind of got hit up top, but hurt his hamstring. Tried to come back twice this year. Wasn't really working. Wasn't really looking like himself. And then now it's a month until the playoff, and he's not going to be suiting up for the Buckeyes. So it's a little it's unfortunate. It's disappointing. I know probably sucks for him, not to be able to be with his team when they're going after the national championships. We've seen some bowl opt-outs like Michael Mayer opt out, Anthony Richardson's opting out to go to the draft. Some more DBs are opting out. Will Levis opted out. So it's interesting. Me personally, I'm gonna give it a go. Me all the time, like I want to play. I don't really understand the Jaxon situation, but I'm not in his situation. Hamstring injuries, those are tricky. So I hope he gets well. I was pretty disappointed, but what do you guys think about the opt-out situation in college football play? In a college football playoff scenario, and then the bowl game scenario. Because for me, I'm always about let's compete. Like, let's go win. I'd rather go play a game and compete and win something, win a trophy, than sit out, training on the beach in California, something that I'll be doing right after the bowl game, So what do you guys think about that? John, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. I was waiting on I thought he was ready.
No, I don't know, man.
I hate to have an opinion on because these are star athletes.
Yeah.
I wasn't a star in college. So I hate to even like try and put myself in that position where you got life-changing money. I don't think it's fair as a former athlete to do that. I mean, as a fan, it obviously sucks. You like your team, and if just as a Buckeye fan, if Smith-Njigba's healthy and he's kind of, I know, I doubt he's faking, but if he was faking, that'd be a reason for you to get super upset. But yeah, I don't really know how to feel about it, honestly.
Yeah, man. Like, I know if I was in that position and they were like, you could do this or that, and especially it depends on what the coach is telling me. The coach is like, no, you're not playing in this game. Like, sometimes the coaches will tell the players like, no, you're not playing in this game. Same way, like in the college ball, they'd be like, no, best if you go pro or go declare for the draft. Like, and we'll give this backup experience going into the next year, or give this backup chance to get some film, etc. So I don't know. Either way, I feel like if the kid want to play, he'll play. Like, I feel like sometimes we don't know what's going on as far as like the family, agents, coaches, what everyone's telling the athlete, and like what they feel like the best advice is. And sometimes these kids do want to play, I feel like, but then they get it's like if you got an injury and you want to play, but they're like, nah, man, you can't play. And so they're trying to look out for you and to be your best interest in the long run. But I know from a fan, you want to see the guys out there playing. but I can for sure understand a guy deciding to opt out.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I agree with that. Like, it's disappointing, man. Like, oh man, you want to see 11 suit up in scarlet and gray again, but at the end of the day, that is his career. He has to do what's best for him, and the last thing you want for him to do is go out there and injure himself, even more. So it's been a pleasure watching him. Special talent. Hopefully, he does his thing in his league. I feel like he will. You see Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave both, in the offensive rookie of the year running. So I expect them to follow suit, and Marvin the next year, and then Jaden Ballard or Julian Fleming, and then Brandon Ennis in a few years. So yeah, subtle shot at John. No, Brandon Ennis throwing up the 08. So and Carnell Tate. So yeah, I agree with you guys. Like, they have to do what's best for them. It's a playoff too, so it's something that really has to be heard. I met him once. He was a nice kid, so seemed to be really down to earth. Talked to me for a while too, him and his brother. So at a local restaurant out here. So they seem to come from good family, have good roots. So we're rooting for you, Jaxon. I hate not seeing you in Scarlet Gray anymore, but like Ian said too, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes at all. And the same for these other kids. I don't really know what's going on. I'm interested to see if Bryce Young opts out, because I do not remember a time when a Bama player has opted out. So it'll be interesting. It'll be really interesting.
It'll be interesting to see who plays quarterback for Bama next year.
Yeah, it will be. I believe they have like 2 or 3 of them, competing. They got the Milrow kid that started. They have Todd Simpson, who was like a 5-star out of Tennessee, and I believe they have another kid. So it'll be interesting. And also Tennessee too. It'll be interesting to see.
And Georgia. It's gonna be an interesting season next season.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that
Michigan
portal's already
State
got over 100.
What'd you say?
So that portal's already got over 100 quarterbacks, I believe.
Really?
Wow. Shoot, even Michigan State, Ohio State, bro, even Miami.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's gonna be an interesting season next year for football and basketball. Just started, but just after basketball season 2, people gonna hit the portal. It's gonna be interesting to see what our rosters look like. Like this season, some rosters look crazy this year through the portal.
I mean, this reminds me of like NBA free agency. Like this, it's almost a second season. Like I know Ed is plugged in on the Ohio State. I mean, it's like something every day. Like you might have a commit, but other schools are, throwing this amount of money. You see Deion Sanders go to Colorado. Every kid in the country seems to want to go to Colorado. He's calling every kid in the country. So like the commitments don't really mean anything. Everybody's just finding an extra $100,000 to throw this kid. I mean, it's like a whole another season of college football, really.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I heard Ron Day talk about it, and he was just saying it's almost draining him a little bit, because he has to do so much. And plus, like, this man has to get ready to play like a legendary team, a team on a legendary pace. Like, the Jalen Carter picking up Jaden Daniels and throwing the one up, like, that was the wildest stuff. Like, that was just insane. That's a moment, like, I always remember, like, this team is a problem. So
yeah, but as a football fan, I want to see that Ohio State Michigan rematch. As a football fan, I want to see Ohio State try to get their lick back, or Michigan just going to dog them 3 straight times in a row. That's pain.
Yeah, that's pain, man. That would be a tough.
I'd love to see that game, man.
That would top the Carolina Duke Final Four.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it would.
Being for a national.
That's hard to top, man.
Yeah, it would be right there with that Carolina Duke Final Four. I mean, especially I think the Duke, that having Coach K, like, that being his last game,
That's true.
I mean, it was almost like a movie script, but it went bad for Duke, but it went great for Carolina. Like, I mean, that was just perfect. Ian, you were there. I know that atmosphere had to have been crazy.
Every basket, man. Every basket, every turnover, every free throw, everything was like high, as the highest level, man. High intensity.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I think the weird thing about the portal, though, is I see guys who have already hopped in there, like Keaton Slavis, I think, is in there. JT Daniels is in there.
That's wild.
Yeah, I'm like, do these guys, they have to sit out a year, right? We're going to have to, do you guys know? Because they've already been in there once. Once you go in there twice, don't you?
Daniels is going to his 4th school.
Who?
I think the quarterback from West Virginia, right? He's going to his 4th school.
Is that really?
Oh,
yeah, that is right.
I don't know for sure, but they're definitely grad transfers, and that might. I can't imagine Slovis being 24 and sitting out a year, or Daniels.
Yeah. They probably are grad transfers, because, yeah, you're right. Because Daniels was at USC, Georgia, West Virginia, and now he's heading to his 4th school. It's interesting. It's interesting, man. I don't see too many. I see some O linemen. I see some defensive players that could like make an impact. But when it comes to the quarterback, a lot of those guys are like, like in the portal for a reason. Like it's none of those like Quinn Ewers or like none of those Caleb Williams. Like nobody that I really see like from like Ohio State side. Not that like we have 2 5-star quarterbacks, just both unproven. So well, I'll talk about that. And we'll talk about that at a later date. But it's the portal, man. It's amazing. But the one thing I was saying though, I said in the chat, like if 1,000 people go in the portal, that means it's 1,000 jobs open. So it's almost like musical chairs or that Division II and that FBS level. So we shall see, man. I'm excited to see what's going on, and it should be a fun time. It should be a fun time. Hey Ian, I see the brim. Let the people see the brim, man. This is the topic for you. Topic for you. Big Aaron Judge signing the 9-year, 70
Oh
plus,
yeah, I've been waiting. I've been waiting to speak on this.
390 plus deal, man. So the Padres offered him 10 years, 410 million, 410 million. That's crazy. The Giants got in there. A couple reporters tweeted that he was going to the Giants, had Yankees fans in disarray. I'm gonna let you take off, Ian. Then John will go, and then I'll go, man. How are you feeling about keeping Judge, keeping him in the Bronx, man, the King of New York?
Yeah, man, it's good to have him back. Somebody called me. I'm not gonna name drop on here, but somebody called me in the middle of me eating dinner. Hey, man, you saw that? Judge going to the Giants. And I said, and like it didn't register. I was like, what you mean? So he's going to the Giants. They just sent something out, and I'm looking. I'm like, man, no real sources sent this out. Y'all falling for the backdoor sources, the Wikipedia sites, man. Like, come on now. He's not leaving New York. And he ain't saying the Padres was getting involved. Padres making me nervous now. They breaking the bank out. Who they just signed? Bogarts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they breaking the bank. So we're gonna see what kind of moves they're making. There were a couple games, a couple pitches, a couple plays away from maybe being in the World Series last year. So we'll see what's about to happen. But it's good to see Judge back, man. He's a staple to the organization, the captain. And we're not done, I hope y'all don't think we're done. We're gonna get somebody else.
That
Hopefully,
was gonna be my next question.
I love to get Correa. And sure, you know what I mean, figure things out from there. Maybe make a play, free agency, waiver, trade, something. But it's gonna be baseball is gonna be interesting next year, especially teams swapping players. I know the Guardians got some guys. I know the Guardians probably feel like they're a couple players away, a couple pieces away from being nice.
Yeah.
Like even the Padres in the same thing. They probably and the Phillies, same thing. They feel like they had Trey Turner, maybe they get over the hump. So it'll be interesting to see next season how things go. And then teams that like were supposed to be good this year that were bad, probably thinking this is our year to get it back. So we'll see how they play. So
yeah, it should be an interesting year. John, how do you feel about Aaron? You're a big Aaron Judge guy, like not necessarily a Yankees fan, but you have high praise for Judge, man. Strong man, good foundation, good spirit, So go
Yes,
ahead.
sir. As big as he is, he's as strong in his faith. Yeah, Aaron Judge is the man. I didn't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. He turned down a deal before this year to basically play a
he bet on himself.
Prove a contract. Yeah, and then he went and hit 6,300.
And then he breaks the record.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. So good for the Yankees. I'll root for him. My boy Griff is a Yankee fan. My boy Ian's a Yankee fan. So I'm an honorary watch one baseball game a year Yankee fan.
Yeah. Shout out to Big Doug, man. Doug.
My boy Doug, the realest Yankee.
Yeah, the realest Yankee, man. He's a big Yankees guy, man. But I agree with what y'all said, man. Like I couldn't when I saw the news, and it was crazy because like a verified source tweeted out, like one of the baseball reporters tweeted out, like Judge to the Giants is basically imminent, and we were like, wow, like really, like I just can't imagine Judge in anything other than pinstripes. Like he's like a Jeter. He's like, a Mariano, like he's like a Posada, like they shouldn't wear anything other than pinstripes. And like Ian said, he should be the captain. They need to go ahead and, give him that captain crown. He's handled himself so well, like you said, strong in his faith, like great leader, always keeping his poise, like never embarrassing like his family or his team in the media, like always staying low key. And that's hard to do moving throughout New York, but especially as big as he is, man. So I'm really happy to see Judge there, man. I'll pull for Aaron Judge. I like guys like that, man. So for him to be in New York and like y'all said, like Ian said, he turned down 7 years, 260. Like, nah, I'm worth more than that. And then went out and broke a record, bet on himself, got a big bag, man. So shout out to you, big all rise, man. Shout out to you, Aaron Judge, getting that bag, man. Getting that bag. It is well deserved, sir. It is well deserved. So with that being said, we're gonna move on to our next topic. We're gonna talk a little NFL, man. Ian's Jets have obviously moved on to Mike White. I saw the team was wearing Mike White, T-shirts, man, and Ian being out in Michigan, the Lions are starting to get hot. Hey, don't look now; they're starting to get hot. So, big golf and Swift is back playing great. So,
man, listen here.
Yeah, go ahead and take off on that, Ian.
Those who don't know history are failed to repeat it. Listen again here when I tell you this. Those who do not know history are failed to repeat it. The Detroit Lions, a team of history. We know their history. We know their We know their history, though. They're not, when it comes to the big moments, honestly, the Bears game kind of flipped their season. Bears had them beat. I remember this game, Barry. I was like, remember this game if the Lions make a run. Bears had them beat. Justin Fields made a couple mistakes. Lions ended up pulling away from that game, I think, by 1 point victory, 1 point margin. And they had a dominant win against the Jaguars at home. But do not let that fool y'all. The Jaguars are not a good football team. Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now. We know the Jaguars are going to be the Jaguars. Hope the Jaguars fans enjoyed the little run where they almost went to the Super Bowl or whatever, where Fournette was going crazy. I hope y'all enjoyed that because it's going to be a while before y'all get back to that status. But back to what I was talking about. But, bro, the Lions this weekend, I think they're favored against the Vikings. And I really don't know how, because since 2016, like I said earlier, those who don't know history are failed to repeat history. Since 2016, the Lions have not won back-to-back home games. And the Bills did that this season. Bills won in Detroit against the Browns and came back up in there on Thanksgiving, beat the Lions in heartbreak fashion, man. And it's going to be the same way this Sunday. Kirk Cousins, 1 o'clock. Kirk Cousins activated. He might go for 400 yards.
Yeah.
Jetters, they have nobody to guard. Justin Jefferson. I think the Lions, I think the Vikings come out of there with about a 10-point victory. I think it's high scoring, 38-28. Yeah, Vikings. Sorry, Lions fans. Sorry, my boy Brez. Sorry to my man, all my Lions fans out there listening. I got to, I've been saying this to y'all. Y'all gonna get on my head about the Jets. A heartbreaker this weekend. Mike White played a great game again, converting 4th downs, throwing lasers, standing in the pocket, taking hits. He looked like he was leading the offense. I'm wrong with Mike White till further notice. So,
you out on Zach Wilson? You ride on Mike White?
Oh, no, I'm not out on him. No, I'm not out on him. I'm just, I'm just riding the hot hand. I'm gonna just make the right decision. Coaching is the best decision for the moment. That's Mike White right now.
I hear that. John, what's your take on the NFL season? What you've been able to watch, man?
I don't have much. I did want to comment. The Lions play. I know Ian's boys out in Michigan wanted him to comment on Detroit. They play Ian's Jets in a couple weeks, so that'll be real interesting if Detroit goes up to New York and takes care of them.
And
Jets.
actually, hold on. I think we play Saturday versus Brown, and Sunday. Maybe Coach will let us off on Sunday. Maybe I'll go down to Detroit and watch this Lions Vikings game. Tickets can't be too crazy now for a field. Humble yourself now. I know you win a couple games. Now humble yourself. The prices better still be adorable now. Humble yourself.
Dan Campbell is the man. Anytime
I like Dan Campbell. I do like Dan Campbell.
Any video on Twitter I will watch of him.
Jamal Williams, nice. Jared Goff did go to the Super Bowl, man. Hey, he's nice. He's a good quarterback. I'm jumping the gun. See, I'm buying into the Detroit bias. I'm not gonna let it fool me, man. So here we go. Continue.
Jared Goff, man, caused my Cowboys some pain, man, in the playoffs, man. He did.
Man, it was Todd Gurley that caused you pain, not Jared Goff, bro.
No, it wasn't even. Well, Todd Gurley had a good game, but it was
shout out to 2-5, man.
CJ Anderson, man, that's crazy, man. Shout out to Todd Gurley, man. It's crazy running back shelf life, man. Like he was
crazy. Shelf life is nuts.
The game, and then
Mark Ingram was like a rarity. Mark Ingram's still running to this day.
Yeah, but he had the AK though. He's working with AK though. So
they ran my boy Frank Gore into the ground.
Yeah,
Frank Gore kept coming back. That's on. Don't say they did that. He kept coming back, bro. Don't let him. Stop trying to do that. Stop trying to paint that narrative, bro. He kept like, I'm not retiring.
Frank
Talking
Gore
about
did
trying to think back.
keep coming back.
Yeah, like
One thing,
Marshawn Lynch knew when it was time. Stop taking them hits.
one thing, man.
Bounce off.
One thing I wanted to speak on, man, is my Cowboys sitting at 9-3, but with the Eagles being as hot as they are, and I'm starting to think the Eagles might be for real, man. They just run the ball well. They don't have the hardest schedule left. They got the Giants this week, and in MetLife, so in MetLife, and then they go to the Bears, and then they come to the Lions. Then they come to the Lions then. And
Ford
then
Field. Lions Den, Ford Field.
no, Jerry's World, the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas
Which
Cowboys.
one is it? Is it the Lions Den or is it Jerry? You see how you trying to make up all this stuff, John?
Yeah,
I'm gonna check every Cowboys fan. I'm gonna
yeah.
check every time I see
Here's
a
the
little
thing,
success.
though.
I'm gonna check them.
Here's the thing, though. Michael Parsons is the Lion. That's his den. Come on now, the Lion is never,
Life never
Lion
what?
is never
Lions never
full.
what, bro?
He's
All
never
right, bro.
full. He's always hungry. That's his.
Oh, the
Look
Lions
it
never
up,
full
man. Look
now.
up Michael Parsons IG.
I
But I
started
will
the
say,
coach, John.
man.
I apologize. I started that. My fault. I apologize.
Yeah,
Now he's just
I will say, man, if we lose to the Texans this week, I'm gonna have a hard time. Right now I'm really happy with the team. Some of our numbers are deceiving. The defense is getting a lot of turnovers. It's good to have Dak back. He kind of needs to limit the turnovers, but right now,
If y'all lose to who?
the what?
If y'all lose to who?
The Texans this week, at
Who
home,
that?
Houston Texans.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Aaron Foster and them?
No, man. Arian Foster haven't played in like 7 years.
Matt Schaub and them?
Yeah, y'all were favored by 17 and a half. I've never seen an NFL.
Andre Johnson suiting up? Oh, okay, all right. Then we're not worried about that game, bro. If y'all lose to them, y'all don't even know what I mean. You know what time y'all gonna be on the demo
Yeah,
when lights
exactly.
come on.
Yeah, so it's with this team, man. I'm happy that they're winning. I'm just right now. It's all about the playoffs to me, man. Like you got to show me. I'm really happy. Good to see the boys winning. It'd be nice to get that division. Like I said, the Eagles' schedule isn't that great, but hopefully my guy Jay Fields can kind of get it done. And now I'm thinking about the Justin Field era at Ohio State. Don't sleep on Jamison Williams showing up with the Lions. He's gonna be a problem. Pair him up with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Don't sleep, Ian. Don't sleep. Lions might can make a run. So it
Was
is.
his last school Ohio State or Alabama?
What was that?
What was his last school? James Williams.
Yeah, I definitely gotta go. I definitely gotta go to the game now.
Alabama. Okay.
Yeah. Jamison Williams is back, so it's good to see him. Good to see him back. So it's gonna be interesting times. It's gonna be interesting times. Obviously, Deshaun Watson's back in Cleveland. They go down and play Cincinnati this week. So both those teams, Cleveland and Detroit, gotta run the table, man. But Joe Burrow is balling out. Do y'all, beat Mahomes 3-0 versus Mahomes, but 0-3 versus the Browns? So. Do y'all have an MVP? Y'all have an NFL MVP right now?
No, I don't. I don't have one right now.
Really? I think
No,
right now.
NFC has to be Hurts right now. The NFC.
Yeah.
Overall, I don't know.
NFC is
I gotta do more research, watch some more, do some. I gotta see some more before I say something on that.
Yeah. I can't pick one for the AFC, but I think it's either Burrow or Mahomes because Burrow did a lot without Chase, and Mahomes is Mahomes. He's been balling all year, so. NFC could be Geno too. Don't sleep on Geno. Shout out to Geno. Might carry the Seahawks to the playoffs. So that's a nice story. If they have a most improved player or a great comeback story award, he should win that. So it should be interesting. It should be interesting times. John, you got any MVP picks for us?
I like Mahomes and Allen. I think they're the best two players in football.
Oh yeah, Allen's good.
Well, I just think that playoff game last year was one of the best football games I've ever seen, and both those guys just do incredible things every.
Yeah, I mean they're not normal. When you watch other quarterbacks play, then you watch them play, they are not normal at all. Not normal at all. So yeah, that's a good one, John. I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%. Man, when it comes down to it, though, I was looking at this today. If the playoffs started today, the Cowboys would be heading down to Tampa Bay. And I usually, if you know me, I'm a pretty confident Cowboys fan, but that makes me nervous, man. Because as bad as the Bucs have looked this year, that would be the game when they just flip it back into form. It would be that game. It really would be. And you can never count Tom Brady out. Like, I'm gonna give the pod some insight. I was like, when I think I texted in the chime, like, man, Brady's done, man. Like, this is horrible. When they were down 17-3 or what was it, 14-3, 13-3, and then or 16-3. And then just 2 touchdowns back to back to back. Andy Dalton, choking Andy Dalton, you know, can't get the job done. So that would make me nervous, man. That would make me nervous.
Since we're still on NFL topic, I'm gonna run off some quick picks for the listeners, just real quick.
Yeah.
We're gonna go Bills over the Jets. We're gonna go Bengals over the Browns. We got Cowboys over the Texans. I'm gonna go Vikings over the Lions. Sorry. Titans over the Jags. Eagles it's gonna be a tough game. The Giants are gonna battle, but Eagles over the Giants. Lamar's not playing, so I got the Steelers beating the Ravens. Chiefs over the Broncos. I think the Broncos just can't score points right now. I don't know what's wrong with them.
Yeah.
Dark horse pick. I got the Buccaneers figuring it out. They're gonna go to Niners. Niners are gonna be without their normal starter and Jimmy G. So I feel like Tom Brady goes in there, gets a win, gets above 576, gets a real vice grip over that division. As the Panthers fall to Seahawks and the Dolphins. Dolphins at Chargers Sunday Night Football. What do y'all think about that one? Dolphins are the real deal, but you can't never go against my man's Herbert. He can easily win you any kind of game.
Yeah. Herbert's a dog, man. Herbert's a dog. But where is the game in Miami?
It's in the Chargers at the Chargers.
Okay. I think just like the embarrassment, because Miami was embarrassed last week. They didn't play well. They had a tough game. They lost to 49ers. Brock Purdy was, slinging the ball around on them, like running around on them. There's no way I can really, see them not bouncing back. So I think I'm gonna go with Miami. Herbert. I like Herbert, but there's things like he does amazing things, but I don't know if it's the organization, but I'm just not really impressed with the Chargers. They're kind of having a letdown season. I hear all this Herbert hype, but we got to start racking up some wins at some point. And I don't know if that's on him. I don't know if that's on the coaches. I really don't know. We'll see, but I would just like to see him win some more games and have some more games.
I feel like this game is when they get. I feel like this game is when they get it started. Like the Chargers win that game, they work their way back off in the playoff wild card contention. They're gonna win. They're gonna win that Sunday Night Football game and climb their way back in the rankings. And then, John, you got anything to speak on the Dolphins and Chargers, or?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting game because they're both third-year quarterbacks. They were both that 2020 class, and Herbert kind of had all this hype. He has kind of all the intangibles, and he had a really good rookie year. And it seems like the hype on him's kind of died down, and Tua kind of, people made all these jokes about he has this weak arm, and now they got Tyreek Hill, and he's like a, one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. So the roles have kind of reversed. It's kind of an interesting matchup.
Yeah, it should be a good one.
In the closing night of the NFL, we got the Monday Night Football game. We got the Pats at the Cardinals, and I'm gonna go with Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. I feel like the Patriots they're gonna have a good game plan, but I feel like the Cardinals are gonna figure out a way to have one of them outbursts on offense that they sometimes have every year. And it's gonna be the one this Monday night. They're gonna beat the Patriots. So that's my NFL.
Man, is the
quick pick.
Kyler Murray.
What'd you say?
I was saying, is the Kyler Murray Cliff Kingsbury experiment kind of dudding out?
No, I feel like it was just a bad season, bro. I don't feel like it's done now. But I think that thing in the offseason really started it all, bro. Let's be honest. With that contract dispute thing, who knows how things are going on there now? You know how sports can be. Like, we have no idea, bro.
And I feel like Kyler, he wears a huge chip on his shoulder. And I don't think he took too kindly to them putting that in his contract. But also, he should have read that. Like, him and his agent should have, spotted that out. But I think, honestly, I actually think the Pats will win that game just because I think Belichick, they're the more stable organization right now. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but I think they're going to get it done. So I'm excited to see that game, though. It should be a fun one. Two contrasting styles, Cliff Kingsbury, young, flashy, superstar, handsome, good looking, got all the vibes,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like that's what they all, he has everything, young guys that are going for him. The ladies love him, man. The ladies love him. So Versus, Bill Belichick, the older guy, kind of like the Grinch, but he gets it done. He gets it done. He gets it done. So I think Big Belichick's gonna dial up something for him. So it should be a good one. I kind of wanted to cap off the pod is I talked about this. I've been talking about this the past 2 days. I think it's a little bit of NBA talk, and obviously, Ian, you're in the coaching world, so you can speak on it a little bit. I mean, we're just talking game, we're talking ball, and John, ball just as well as anybody. You're coaching as well. I think the Boston Celtics are amazing. Like, I think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I've been saying this for years now. Ian's been hearing me saying it ever since LeBron. I remember me and Ian watched a little bit of the series when they were playing LeBron when he was in Cleveland. I was like, man, then like when Braun leaves the East, like this team is gonna like run the East. Like they were 19 and 20 going at LeBron James. Like that's not normal at all. And I think they're gonna be the team to beat in the East. They're to be the team to beat in the NBA. Honestly, I think the only team that can even see them right now is Milwaukee when they're fully healthy and locked in and ready to go. Like I don't think any other team can come see them. They got Tatum and Brown are unbelievable. Adding Malcolm Brogdon is unbelievable. They don't even have Robert Williams back. So if you guys want to touch on the NBA, like I know, like it's a lot. The West is a war. It's a lot of great teams over there. I'm watching the Portland and Denver right now. But if you guys want to touch on the NBA season, and I talked about it, I said this is the best duo, man. This is the best duo. Modern day Jordan and Pippen. They might not be as good as Jordan, obviously, and they might not be Pippen. They're probably, in my opinion, I think they'll both will end up being better than Pippen, but I highly doubt. I don't know. I highly doubt they'll end up being better than Michael Jordan, Black Cat. But that's what I like, that type of duo that just dominates. And one thing I love to see is how they coexist. There's not too many egos. They haven't clashed yet. I really hope they don't. It's because a lot of people, the millennials, get a hard knock. And they're my age. They're me and John's age. So, I want to see them do well, man. I'm not a Celtics fan, not a Celtics guy, but I support those guys and I want to see them do well. But what do you guys think about the NBA season? We'll talk about it a little bit, wrap up the pod from there.
Yeah, man, I think the Boston for sure can be in that final.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we just gotta wait to see those matchups, man. It's
Yeah.
7-game series. Anything can happen. Like I feel like if Boston had to line up against the Grizzlies, that'd be a tough matchup for them. If they line up against the Warriors again, that's a tough matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Bucks, of course, when they're fully healthy. I think the Sixers and Heat are still tough teams to beat. I'm not gonna discount the Knicks. I'm gonna put the Knicks in there. I feel like they're probably like a piece away still, but they're moving in the right direction. And
are we serious here?
the Knicks are gonna make the playoffs, bro. They might, they keep winning. They might.
I mean, I respect your Knicks. Like I respect the Knicks.
Like I'm speaking crazy though. Like, that's the thing.
But I'm saying though, they're the non-seed right now. Like we were naming like top 4 seeds, and you just went to the non-seed in the East. Like you know what I mean? I'm not even going. I'm not even going to air it out on the pod. But like y'all see what's really going on. You see how you try to throw the Knicks in there? You see he has a New York hat on. I guess that's what it is. Why don't we throw, and then you threw Miami, 10th place Miami in there. Like that's crazy. You might as well throw the Bulls in there too. While we're at it. So,
it's not even Christmas yet. You know how the season goes, bro.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I like Cleveland too. Cleveland has a good score. The East.
Oh yeah, Cleveland's a good. Cleveland could beat Boston.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. They had a great game a few weeks ago.
You got to be able to score that ball, beat Boston.
Yeah, you do.
They're gonna have that playoff defense. They're gonna lock you up.
Man, I like Brooklyn in the 4th seed though. I see Brooklyn making some moves. So
yeah.
I see them making some moves. So that'll be interesting, man. That'll be interesting. So we'll see, man. We shall see. But one thing I want to ask y'all, man, is how are y'all doing, man? John, take off on that. Sorry, John. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good. No, y'all covered it. Yeah, it's been neat to see, Tatum and Brown kind of grow up together because, like you were saying in that finals against LeBron, they're 19 and 20 going right at the king, and now they're 24, 25, however old they are, and have blossomed into 2 of the better players in the NBA. Just going down the list, I think obviously Milwaukee's going to be there. Giannis is just a monster. Brooklyn's won, I think, 9 of 12. Kyrie's back. Kevin Durant, in my opinion, is still the best player on the planet, and he's pissed off this year. So I definitely am not counting him out. Sorry to all my Giannis fans. I still got Kevin Durant, the guy that can shoot the basketball, best player in the world.
Wow.
And I'm actually gonna pull. I'm actually gonna pull. Yeah, that's at all the Giannis boys. I'm a KD guy.
AG, the main Giannis boy, not in the chat.
Yeah, that's at any Giannis fan. But I'm actually gonna pull a card out of Ian's and take the 10 seed. I'm still, I know Miami's had a tough start of the year, but they seem to always be in the mix at the end. They got just an unbelievable culture. Jimmy Butler, Idris Adebayo, shout out 2-5. They're gonna be there. They're gonna be there at the end.
So will the Suns, the Mavericks, and Nuggets, Trailblazers, will they ever break through? Or y'all think they're gonna be just good playoff teams forever? Can they break through? Or like what?
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man.
Mavericks are still a good team, man. They got one of the best players in the world.
Who's that?
Luka Doncic.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't know what team you said. Yeah,
Mavericks.
I mean, Luka is a monster. He's up there. Like, he's top 5 player in the world right now, top 10 player in the world. But like, you got to put some pieces around him, and the West is hard. But I mean, I think a team like the Nuggets, because they got like they're almost, I don't know what their egos are like, but like with Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, Yoke, like all those guys are fairly young. Yoke might be a little bit older now, but all those guys are fairly young, and they go get to it. Even Bones Highland off the bench, man. Like, they got a good squad. Bruce Brown, so they got a good team. What were you saying, John?
I like it's a whole lot better than Dallas. I think the Nuggets. I still have Jamal Murray in the bubble. Jamal Murray is unbelievable. He's one of the better guards. He's incredible. I'm kind of on the overrated train on Jokic. Sorry to my Serbian friends. But also, what do y'all think Luka Doncic's superstar or appeal is to superstars? Anytime I watch Dallas play, I mean, it's just a James Harden type offense, and I could not imagine going to play defense and then just like watching a guy dribble the air out of the ball, and you just you're never in rhythm with a offense like that.
Yeah, go ahead, Ian.
I feel like the Mavericks play fine. I know Jason Kidd just spoke about talking about how much the usage that Doncic has, and it's kind of not going to work in the long run. He's like Jason Kidd just talked about that really probably like the last game, but yeah, I mean, they're really kind of a few threes away from beating the Warriors last year in the long run. I mean, Luka, he doesn't really they help him out on defense. They got a lot of athletic defenders around him. They got 3-point shooters. I mean, like, to play with Luka, you're gonna have to have guys that can make shots and guys that can rebound and help him out on the glass, help him out on defense, especially because he's that good of offensive talent. You can't not play him. So, because teams like to get him in switches and attack him and stuff like that on the defensive end, but I don't know. The Mavericks could break through. I feel like it's about 8 teams that could win it this year, 8 to 10 teams. This is open to the NBA. Has been in a while, so we'll have to just see what happens.
Right. He's special, undoubtedly. I just don't ever see that type of offense winning, and I don't see like that run. Like Jalen Brunson was the second best player. I don't see a Jalen Brunson being the Robin on a championship team. So I think he needs another piece, and I don't see another piece wanting to come be sit in the corner and watch him do your thing type deal.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I think I don't know, man. Like, I think they just have to pick up the tempo. Like, the pace has to be better, man. Like, that's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter if he has the ball in his hands all the time, but if he kind of gets his teammates involved and then, like, they pick up the pace, it'll be better. Because, like you said, John, they aren't going to, like, until Kidd starts to get them to push the pace a little bit and, like, I almost kind of get that, like, how the Suns were running it with Nash. Like, not a full D'Antoni offense because D'Antoni goes a little bit over the edge and then the defense lacks. Like, not saying all that. But it's like just pushing the tempo, man, getting easy buckets. Because if everything is so hard, you're gonna wear out in a 7-game series. Because like you gotta think like the Clippers, like they got like 5 or 6 dudes that they just threw at him, and like he wore out in that series. And even like the series they lost like to the Warriors, like the Warriors had Wiggins, like it was just so many guys, like you
Yep.
can't just do that. You're not about to beat like Ian said, the NBA is too deep. You're not about to just beat one team when your usage rate is that high. Like that's not gonna happen. You got to pass that ball around. You got to get everybody involved, and you got to push the pace. But a lot of that is on him too, coming in like in the best shape that he could possibly be in, and kind of going at it from there. So that's kind of my opinion. That's my opinion on it. So
Agreed.
Yeah, man, that's it, man.
yeah, that's really it, man. So AJ, man, shake back win. What was that last night? Congratulations on that, bro. How you doing?
Yeah, we good, man. Just shake back and get my rest tonight. Get ready for this game Saturday. Hopefully, take care of business and enjoy a long week, little break before we play Oakland, Buffalo, and then Michigan when we get back. So,
Jay, oh, my fault. Ian. Go ahead.
I was saying, let's just keep it rolling, bro.
Yeah, keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Jay Witt, man, what you got on the docket coming up, man? Anything big?
Bro, been checking out a bunch of local high school games. I went to one last night. Had 6 AAU kids in the game, so that was really special. See them going against each other. South Central versus Washington, great game. Washington ended up losing by 2. Just great to see people in the stands, out and about in the community. Ain't nothing like the game. Ain't nothing like what the game does, bringing people together. Just nothing like it.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, you didn't say it. You can't say it any better, man. You cannot say it any better.
Like I said earlier, those that don't know history, I fail to repeat history. The Detroit Lions have not won back-to-back home games since 2016. The Bills already did it this season. Minnesota Vikings 38, Detroit Lions 28. And I always like to end it off like that.
Hey, Ian, at some point, history is meant to be broken, man. It's meant to be rewritten. So hey, shout out to my guy Brez, man. I'm riding with y'all this weekend, man. Go ahead and beat.
Hey, Ron, I know Ron, get in here. I ain't got, you know what I mean? Lions.
Yeah, Ron, actually, just for that, never mind. We're not even gonna get into that, man. Shout out to my guy Ron Waldron. You got the bragging rights right now, but the Bucks ain't dead yet, baby. The Bucks ain't dead. And I don't know if I said it earlier on the pod. I think I did. The Ohio State Buckeyes will win the national championship this year. Book it, book it, book it, book it. Big J Witt, man, you got anything to say to the people to sign off before we sign off?
I don't. I hope everybody's blessed and have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, man. Holiday season, man. Today, December 8th is my sister's birthday, man. Shout out to my sister. Happy birthday to my sister. And appreciate everyone showing love, man. I think, the people have been showing love on our page. Ian said some people have been hitting him up about it. John saying the guys and his people showing love. I've been getting some people telling me that they like the pod. So that's love, man. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. So we move pod, man. Whether things are going good or bad, just hold on, stay firm, stay locked in on that foundation. Keep moving, man. Keep moving. So, Ian, you got anything else other than your Lions thing before we go ahead and sign out for the people?
Yeah. I actually got one more thing. Vikings 38, Lions 28. See y'all next week, man.
Hey, see y'all next week.
Here I go.
We Move Podcast.
Here I go. Hey.
All right, my boys. Love y'all.
All right, man. Love you too, man. We Move Podcast episode 5, man. See y'all, man. See y'all.
Yes, sir.